Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in just a minute. If you're just joining us now and would prefer to listen to this presentation at the same time in Spanish, go to the bottom of your screen, click the little globe that says interpretation and select Spanish. We'll be starting in just a second. Thanks, everyone. We've still got people coming in. All right, and with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So again, if you would prefer to hear this presentation in Spanish, go to the bottom of the screen. You'll see a little globe that says interpretation. Just click on that and select Spanish, and then you can listen to this in Spanish. During the presentation, if you have any questions, please click the Q&A box at the bottom. You can enter your questions in Spanish or in English, and we will do one of two things. We'll either answer the questions as we go. People will go in and type the answers for you, and they'll be visible for everyone, or we'll answer them at the end in one of our live session, So we'll have a Q&A time where we can just take questions live. So one way or the other, we will get to your questions. So next slide, please. So I want to say welcome back, everyone. We are so excited to have all of our high school students back. And we really expect and plan to see all of them back on campus. There's really no reason for students not to return on our end. It's only if parents have a preference or a reason for them to stay home. Otherwise, we really do expect to see everyone on campus. We want to thank you for complying with the ISP pledge. We have had 0 on-campus transmissions by students, 0, since we first brought students back in last March. And as I'm about to show you, our community vaccination numbers look really good as well. Next slide, please. At this point in time, 95% of our faculty and staff are fully vaccinated. This basically translates to anyone that wants a vaccine has had one at ISP. In addition to that, as you know, we just did a survey of all of our families, and we had a really great response rate. 2/3 of our families responded as of Friday, July 23rd. And the results are this: 83% of our parents are fully vaccinated. And in addition to that, another 14% are just waiting on their second vaccination. So we are a highly vaccinated community. Additionally, we surveyed all our students that are eligible to be vaccinated, and that means kids 12 years and older, and 65% of those students have been vaccinated. This represents a total of 60% of our high school and middle school population. So that's really exciting news. Next slide, please. So I want to review our progress to date. So on March the 8th, that was not that long ago, we finally were able to bring kids back to campus. We were the first school in Panama to bring students back to campus. And it was so wonderful. I'll never forget those first 2 days with all those joyful faces of kids just happily skipping and jumping and just thrilled to be back on campus with their teachers and their friends. And on April 14th, we had another wave of students that opted to come to our in-person support program, and it was still wonderful. On April the 28th, we got the highly coveted MEDUCA Safe School certificate, and that means, you know, they have looked at all of our biosecurity protocols, and we have done an excellent job going above and beyond their expectations to keep our students safe. And then, as I mentioned already, all our faculty and staff have pretty much, they received all of their doses by the end of May. And May 31st, we also extended the school day to a full day and Fridays so that we could be ready for this year and work out any kinks to that problem. And so now we are approved to open school August the 5th in a semi-presential hybrid model. And that's how we're going to begin the school year. That said, I do want you to know that we are ready to go back to school with every kid coming every day. We have shared all the vaccination data with MEDUCA, and we are requesting that they allow us, because of that data, to go down to a 1 meter distance. The minute we get that permission, we will let you know, and all students will be expected to come to school every day, of course, unless a parent has a reason that they want them to stay home. Next slide, please. Alita, will you talk to them about MEDUCA's non-negotiables?
Sure, thank you, Audrey. So as Audrey said, we were able to keep our students safe throughout all the time that we were open, because we were following the MEDUCA Non-negotiable biosecurity protocols. We will have to keep our social distance. We will continue washing our hands. Our students' temperatures will be checked as they board the buses or arrive at school. We will have a separate nurse area for suspected cases. And the use of the mask, of the face mask, is mandatory throughout the school day. So we will do our best to keep your students, our students, your children safe. And now back to Audrey.
Thank you, Alita. So I know you're dying to know, how is school going to look? And we're going to get there in a few minutes. Mark Ketterhagen has some great information for you. But I will say each division looks a little bit differently, and that's why we're hosting these town halls by division. So I'm just going to go to the next slide and share with you more what it's going to look like from a scheduling standpoint. And then we'll let Mr. Ketterhagen talk to you about details of learning. So for all students, we are going to be starting school at 8 a.m. But I want to be very clear that 8 a.m. is only while we're in this hybrid situation. The minute we go back to students on campus every day, we will be starting school at 7:30 a.m. So this is just a temporary time with all the craziness. All students will be done every day at 2:30. And Fridays will always be a half day. And the split we're going to do right now is Mondays and Wednesdays, A through K, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, L through Z. And I please ask you, please do not email Kimberly and ask her if you could come on a different day. We just aren't able to make those accommodations at this time. So please stick to the alphabet when you're supposed to come. Now, just to make things more confusing, the first week of school, we're not following our schedule. So next week on Friday, Thursday and Friday, we're going to have 2 full days. So next Friday is not an early release. And we're going to have the second half of the alphabet come on August the 5th. So the second half of the alphabet comes first. And then on Friday, the first half of the alphabet comes on that day. So just be sure that you note that. And then from there, we'll let you know when we alternate Fridays. So A through K one week, L through Z the next week. Next slide, please. This is really important, the pledge. If you've already signed the pledge from last year, you do not need to submit another pledge. You're okay. But if you have not submitted a pledge, you are not allowed on campus. And this is really important. And the pledges were due for this year back in early July. So technically, if you have not turned your pledge in, we are not anticipating that you are coming to campus this semester. So if that is not the case and you do want your child to come to campus, please email Kimberly Curtin. You can see her email right there on the screen. Today, send in the pledge and get your child signed up, because we really need that information for our own planning purposes. And again, this is a government requirement, so we cannot let you attend class without the pledge. Next slide, please. And so from here, I'm going to pass it to Janet Nicolau. She is the head of our safeguarding committee, and she's going to talk to you about our security protocols. Thanks, Janet.
Thank you. Thanks, Audrey. Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to have you here, and I hope you enjoyed the summer. We're able to recharge. We are very excited to welcome our students next week, and we've been doing a lot of planning. Like Audrey mentioned, following the pledge is part of our biosecurity protocols, and we want to thank you, all the families that have really taken it to heart and followed the biosecurity protocols that we have. For the upcoming school year, we will continue following our biosecurity protocols and implementing the Swiss model. It's not one thing that keeps us safe, it's a combination of many items and protocols. So we will continue to use face masks. Like Alida said, this is a regulation from MEDUCA. All ages, even the little ones, need to wear face masks. We ask that you please bring several to campus so your child can change it throughout the day. Only the allowed face masks are accepted on campus for regulations. The ones that have bulbs are not accepted, but if you have reusable masks, cloth masks, you're welcome to use them. Social distancing will continue to be a part of our day-to-day, including reduced occupancy until regulations allow us for a little bit more. We'll have ventilation, windows open regularly, as well as our filtering air conditioning. Our hand washing practices will continue across campus, and of course, cleaning and disinfecting. We will have deep cleaning on Saturdays, but every day we will disinfect all surfaces and areas. Next slide, please. Well, we want to thank you because this is, we want to show our numbers from the in-person program in terms of positive cases that we have been notified. I want to thank our community and our families for letting us know the moment they had any suspicion. That allowed us to take action to send a group home if needed for quarantine, send faculty and staff home if needed for quarantine or testing. And this only happened because of your transparency and constant communication. We were happy to report that all of the cases that we have been notified on campus, all of those have been recovered. We have one possible suspicion of a staff case, that transmission that happened on campus. It might have happened, it might not, but we want to make sure that we have all of our numbers and be able to share with the community. So thank you again for taking the time of any situation that have happened to communicate it with our nurses, continuing to follow our biosecurity pledge. If you, your child, or anyone at home is exhibiting symptoms of COVID, please let our nurses know. They will follow up with some questions, and that would help us determine if we need to better stay at home, have confirmation. That allows us to keep our whole community safe. So thank you again for all of your support as we implement our protocols. Next slide, please. Now a little bit of logistics. So for transportation, we will continue to do our temperature check during boarding. We are doing training with our monitors and from our recommended companies on the proper way to do testing. We're going to have a log of everyone before they arrive to campus. If anyone is showing temperature, they will not be allowed on the bus. We will have to follow regulations not only from MEDUCA with the face mask, but also from transportation. So face shields will be required, and we will continue to do the sanitation of the buses in the bus lot. Because we still have to do tracing, we cannot allow for switch busing or flexible busing as we did pre-pandemic. So those restrictions will still continue. The information is updated in our website. We invite you to take a look and contact the service provider of your area if you need any additional information. May I have the next slide, please? And now for lunches. As you've heard, we are in the process and we're very excited to renovate and expand our cafeteria. The cafeteria is still under construction, so in the meantime, please bring snacks and lunches to campus. We will have areas set up for your child to eat their snack and enjoy their lunch. We will set those up in our tennis courts. It's an open area with ventilation, safe for your child to take off their mask while they eat. Please make sure they bring cutlery and, of course, our reusable bottled water to make sure we follow our sustainability practices. We have water station across campus where your student can refill without any contact. Again, remember to bring your lunches, your snacks, and your water bottle to campus. And next slide, please. And now we'll pass it over to Mark for some important information. Thanks, everyone.
Janet, thanks so much. And thanks to all the parents and families who are joining us today. I'm thrilled to be launching the school year and to have many of our students on campus, and can't wait until we can have all students on campus every day. There's a few things we'd like to note in the meantime of how we're going to be reaching students' needs, both when they're at home and when they're here at school. I want to again just echo Dr. Menard's words that what we really want is students here on campus. We know that we can reach students' needs best when they're here in person, and we want as many students here as possible. So any students who can safely attend school, we strongly urge you to send them, and we hope to see them soon. A few things to note for when they get here. So first, as you all know, the high school schedule, high school schedules are complicated, and students have 10 classes that rotate across 2 days. And one of the things we're thinking a lot about with half the students home one day and the other half home the next day is ensuring that we have equitable minutes for all classes. And this gets kind of complicated, and we will ensure that we're sending out detailed schedules to students and to parents. Parents and families, what you need to really know about is the letter split. So A through K being Monday and Wednesday, L through Z being Tuesday and Thursday. That's the most important thing you need to know. Our students are amazing at understanding exactly when they need to be where, and their classes may rotate in different orders on those days, and that's all in order to be equitable with minutes. But the most important thing need to know are those letter days, and we hope to see all of our A through K students Monday and Wednesday, and our L through Z students on Tuesday and Thursday. Next slide, please. One of the most important things that we're really investing time in this year, is meeting the needs of students who are here and also meeting the needs of students who are home. And those of you who were with us last year know that our approach in order to get and engage all students in the learning process, we had students at home live on Zoom or synchronous. And the students in school experienced the same thing. So frequently students would come to school, they'd open up their computers and they would sit on the Zoom lesson with their peers at home, as well as their classmates in school, as well as the teacher. And while it put everybody in the same virtual place at the same time, what it also did is it put children in front of screens a whole heck of a lot. And everyone had these bleary eyes at the end of the day and felt like they'd been watching online instruction all day long. And we also found even our students at home who were meant to be engaging in the learning process disengaged. And maybe we're physically present, but we're not mentally present always, and we're not emotionally present. And at ISP, we're really dedicated to meeting the academic, the social and emotional needs of all students. Our approach this year will be utilizing research-based models for blended learning that schools around the world and researchers around the world have found to be most effective in reaching students of all ages. The students who are in person will experience school very close to as normal. And what I mean by that is they will have 50 to 60 minute in-person blocks of instruction where they are not sitting in a desk watching a computer, where they are moving around safely and socially distanced, where they are interacting with their peers, where they are debating things and laughing and having fun and being noisy and all the things that we know students need to enjoy school and learn that we know we're really missing during the pandemic. And we're really excited about that. Students will be engaged in collaborative group work, in small group discussions, in getting teacher feedback, at times working one-on-one with a teacher or small group instruction. And being here in school, they'll have full access to the ISP library, to labs, to arts classrooms, to the stage in the PAC, to all the things that make ISP great. And we're so excited about providing that opportunity. We know that our in-person students were limited last year because they were stuck on computers. And candidly, our high school students told us, you know, I want to come to school, but it's boring. And I'm just sitting on a computer, and that's not the vision we have for our students. Our students at home also found that process to not be as engaging as we know it could. And so we'll be utilizing a lot of the approaches of blended learning to engage students independently at times, in small groups at times, so that they can maximize their learning. Some examples of that. Our students might have playlists of learning opportunities, which means students at home can progress through lessons at their own pace, rather than our advanced students who feel that they can move a little bit quicker, but they're held back by the pace of the class, or a student who's struggling with a concept and wants a little bit more help. Our students at home will be able to move at their own pace, which is a huge benefit of being able to utilize blended learning models. Teachers will be utilizing asynchronous learning activities and providing individual feedback, both digitally and face-to-face. A big part of reaching our students at home will be providing office hours, and all of our teachers will have office hours at multiple points throughout the week where they can be available to support the needs of students at home. This is kind of like future practice for college. And we know we want to open up doors for our students to be successful after ISP and when they're in college. And students who are learning asynchronously at home have to start flexing some of those independent functioning muscles so they can learn to be self-driven and self-managed and ensure that they're getting the tasks done. So when they return to school the next day for in-person learning, they're held accountable and they're ready to go for those learning opportunities. That will be different for some of our students, but we believe that will be more effective in reaching the needs of our students at home as well as our students in person. Again, the things I want to really emphasize that my team, that our teachers are really working hard at are providing engaging, valuable, fun, noisy in-person learning experiences off computers, and providing individualized paced lessons for students to work on at home. And that may mean seeing a video of their teacher, engaging them and speaking to them, working through those activities and engaging peers or their teachers digitally, and then being held accountable for that learning when they return to school. I want to emphasize how important it is for us to have all students here. School is just not the same without our students. So I hope to see nearly every single high school student, if not everyone, on their days. Please complete that pledge and get your students here. And we look forward to watching them excel in these blended learning models. I'll now throw it to Mr. Archila, who will be talking to us a little bit about athletics.
Thank you, Mr. Carter-Hagen, and welcome everybody to our TownHall. I'm happy to announce that we're going to have sports this coming next school year. My name is Fernando Archila. I'm going to be the next athletic director. And as I said, I'm proud, I'm happy to announce that we're going to be actively participating, training, and even competing, those that love to compete in athletics. We're going to have all of the different sports available. The 7 different sports that we have at ISP. Next slide, please. So in this slide, you're going to see not only the different sports, but also the categories that we offer. The whole range from kindergarten through 12. Of course, we're focusing right now on middle school and high school, as well as the competitions that we have. As you all know, we are part of ASCA, which is the conference for the international schools in Central America. This year, we're not participating in ASCA, but I'm happy to announce one more time that we're going to compete in local leagues. For example, in soccer and basketball, flag football, chances are that we're participating in flag football. And of course, individual sports such as swimming, tennis, or track, not usually participating in leagues, interscholastic leagues here in Panama, but there are competitions that we can participate in an individual base. And we're going to have the times and the spaces here for you to practice and to come to campus to exercise and to meet your friends at the same time. Can we go to the next slide, please? Before we talk about the schedule, and you're going to see the schedule right now in front of you, I just want to emphasize that we're going to continue with our educational-based philosophy in our athletic department. As you all know, we love to train, we are happy and eager to compete, but also student participation in education-based athletics is a privilege. We need to understand that this experience, it enriches at the same time the educational experience at all, encourages the academic achievement, promotes respect, integrity, and sportsmanship. And it should be fun, it should be healthy, and it's going to be, of course, always inclusive. That being said, we can talk about a little bit our schedule, because I know that you may be wondering when and how are you coming to the practices. So we're going to maintain the same schedule, the same cohort system that we have for the mornings, for the afternoons, right? So we have two different cohorts. There is one first cohort that is going to come Mondays and Wednesdays. The AK cohort, Mondays and Wednesdays, are going to be practicing on campus. Then LZ cohort will practice Tuesdays and Thursdays on campus. And after we run the tryouts, I'm going to talk a little bit more about the dates for the tryouts. We're going to select our teams, the ones that are going to be competing in those leagues, and those in the team are going to come a third day on Friday. Whether if you're coming to campus in the morning or not, you're allowed to come to campus and train with your team every Friday. So you basically have 3 days to train, the days on your cohort and then Fridays as well. The times, well, for Mondays and Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Thursdays will be starting at 2:45 and ending at 4 p.m. And Fridays will be a 2 hours practice from 12:45 to 2:45. Can we go to the next slide, please? This is key information, key dates. So there will be a registration window in which we're going to send a registration form to all of you so that you can get to choose the sports that you want to participate in or the sport that you want to participate in through that link. It's very important that you sign up during that window from Friday, July the 30th to Friday, August the 6th. That form is going to be open Thursday and is going to close at 4 p.m. on August the 6th. We're going to send this information, this link, via email to all of the students and parents. You're going to receive it, but you also, we encourage you to go and find it on the athletics website if you didn't check your email, or stay tuned to our social media account, ISP Athletics on Instagram. The first week of tryouts and practices at the same time will be the Monday, August the 9th, or Tuesday, August the 10th. Why is that difference? Because as you remember, when we talk about the schedules and the timetables in our previous slide, there will be two different cohorts. So you may be in the first cohort that is coming on Monday, or the second cohort that is coming on Tuesday. There is only one exception in terms of tryouts, and that's for soccer under 18 boys and girls, under 16 boys, and under 12 boys in soccer. That's only in soccer, and they're going to have tryouts. You're going to have tryouts starting on Fridays, August 6th. Why? Because there will be some competitions such as Liga 10 and Copa Talento that are going to start in August, and we need to have the rosters ready before, so that we can send those rosters to the organization and participate in these competitions. As already mentioned, practice days will be based on cohort and your sport. There will be much more information in the registration link, so we encourage you to go to that registration link when it's open. Right now it's not open, and check the information and sign up. Sign up, participate, and have fun. Can we go to the next one, please? As you know, we have limited spaces, so we're going to have a maximum number of participants for each sport. For individual sports, we're going to have tryouts, but we know that we may have some sports such as team sports like soccer or basketball, in which we will need to select a team A, team B, or team C in order to know who is going to compete in each of the leagues or who is going to compete in each of the friendly meets. So that's the objective of the tryouts. Of course, if you're not in the team A, you're always welcome to come and to continue practice, because as I mentioned before, we can have friendly meets. We're going to keep having the practices, and the more you practice, the more you train, the more chances you will have to be in that team in the future. Remember, we want to continue developing our skills for a lifetime. This is not only one shot, but the more you're engaged in this journey, the more you're going to grow. That middle school and high school cutoff for tryouts is going to vary depending on over-enrollment and team selection. We also invite you to follow the biosecurity measures. We're going to maintain the same standards as in the mornings. And we go to the next slide, please, so that we can see a little bit about the expectations. So some of you were already participating in sports before the school year ended. You know that you have to bring your own mask. We're not taking our masks off during practices or when we're here in the afternoon. We need to keep them on. If we're going to have a water break, we're going to the water break in our personal area, drink water, and then put the mask on one more time. We're going to make sure that the equipment is clean and sanitized before, during, and after the practice, so that we can be safe. Everybody in the school can be safe. And as already said, we're going to have a minimum and maximum number of participants in each of the sports and each of the areas. We will try, of course, in team sports is going to be different, but we will try not to have physical contact at all. And we always are going to be helping you to try to maintain our safety and your safety as the utmost important. So thank you everybody for coming. If you have any question, please type your question in the Q&A box, or reach out to me, to Mr. Fernando, or to Ms. Catalina, so that we can help you out and guide you in this process. So we invite you, everybody, to actively participate and to come back to school to practice and have fun. I will hand it over to after school activities.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Much appreciated. So I want to touch briefly, as Fernando said, we're very excited as well to have after-school activities on campus. I want to share with you a little bit what we're going to offer and some key important dates. So if I may have the next slide. We have prepared for the first semester a variety of after-school offerings, from languages to art to robotics to Master Chef, so you can get delighted after your child has prepared a wonderful meal for you, and much more. Feel free to check our website. All of our offerings are there with the description for you to review and for your child to review and see which one they would be interested in. And next up, so the main takeaway on this slide is the registration window. So registration is going to start this Saturday, July 31st through August 24th. So make sure that you look at the offerings on our website. Be on the lookout for a communication that windows have opened and how you can register from July 31st, and the close day, the registration closes on August 24th. Depending on enrollment in our after-school activities and registrations, we will send confirmation emails by around August 25th. And we look forward to seeing you here on campus and for students to enjoy their after-school activities. And with that, I'll pass it over to Devin for some exciting VAPA information.
Thank you. Can I have the next slide, please? So I am Devin Hibbard. I am the new VAPA coordinator, and I will also be teaching the high school drama courses. So if you have students taking those courses, I will also be teaching them. I'm really excited this year because we've been not creating very much because of the pandemic. So I'm really excited to be leading the VAPA team in bringing back the arts this year. And that's kind of going to be our VAPA model, is bringing back the arts. We're going to be creating together, and hopefully in February doing an all-school musical that will include all ages of ISP students. There will be more on that. We will be following all of the guidelines and rules and regulations. And so I'm not ready to announce what we're doing yet and how it's going to happen. But once we have all those things lined up, we will put information on our VAPA events website. It'll be posted on our Instagram. And then of course, information will be distributed in the Dolphin Dispatch. Hopefully we will be able to have events throughout the year until February, slowly introducing music and theater, and of course, visual arts in our gallery space. And as we plan and present those. Again, all information will be distributed out to all of you. If you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to me. My email is here on the slide. And I really look forward to creating with you and your students. And with that, I'm going to pass it back to whoever is next.
Thank you very much, Devin. So we want to open it a little bit for Q&A. Thank you for asking questions. We've been replying to them via text. And if you have any questions, there's at the bottom of your screen a Q&A section that you can add your questions. So I just want to touch base. Most of them have been answered, but there's one recurrent one about pledges. So if you have already completed a pledge for your child and you sign it and send it over, for example, for last year, you don't need to complete it again. You only need to complete one pledge. If you have not completed your pledge, please do so ASAP, because it's a compliance that we need to meet for MEDUCA. And so let's see what other questions. So for Mark, we have a few questions about schedules. If you can share with parents when schedules will be.
So I know there were a couple questions about when the 9th grade schedules would be sent out. And I know we already sent out the schedules to many of our 9th graders. And then for those who needed to make schedule updates or changes, those students are meeting with the counselors on Thursday and Friday of this week. And then we plan to resend the schedules out digitally early next week. And I'm not sure if there's other questions aside from the 9th grade schedule question.
I think we had two questions about schedules. Thank you. And let me see what else do we have. We had a question about meals. Yes, please bring your snack and lunches to campus. The cafeteria is currently under construction. We'll have areas for you to enjoy your lunch. So be sure to pack something to eat for the day. And let's see, we have a question about traveling, which is very important. Must kids quarantine 14 days before going to school if they have traveled? So we follow the CDC guidelines and of course Panama regulations. So make sure you review the regulations for Panama as they vary depending on the country that you're coming from. From CDC regulations, currently they recommend if you have been vaccinated that you isolate or quarantine for 3 to 5 days, and then you're able to go about what you need to do. If you have not been vaccinated, the CDC recommends that you isolate from 5 to 7 days and test, just to eliminate any possibility of risk. And then, so those are the guidelines we are recommending and following. And for our pledge, in our pledge, you can see the link there for the CDC guidelines. And of course, for Panama, depending on the country where you're traveling from, the restrictions may vary. Mark, a question for you. What platform will students use at home?
So I think the question is about when they're joining synchronously. I think that's what that question is about. I'll talk a little bit about the different platforms that we use. So if students are joining a video chat, or a webinar or something like this one, we're on Zoom right now. Our teachers also use Google Classroom. And so if there's a synchronous lesson where students will be joining or meeting with a teacher or a small group from home, they'd be using one of those two platforms. The other platform, there's a lot of technology tools that our teachers use to engage students in their learning. The most important of which is email. So our students need to, we use G Suite, so the Google Suite. So our students have email addresses and we want our students to check their email regularly, which some of our high school students still are learning to get in the habit of that. And there's all sorts of different platforms that they could get engaged with from there. We sometimes use Pear Deck to check for understanding and a variety of other text tools. But in terms of joining meetings or live conferences with teachers or assemblies or things like that, they would either be using Zoom or Google Classroom, and that remains consistent to what we did last year.
Thank you, Mark. And one more for you. Will the kids that have come up from middle school be given a tour to identify where their classes are?
Yeah, absolutely. So all of our students who are coming up from middle school, those are our students that we hope to see on Wednesday, August 4th for link orientation. And that orientation is a student-led orientation by our upperclassmen where students spend the first half of the day here on campus. And we hope to see every single incoming ninth grader here on next week, Wednesday. So that involves tours, that involves culture building, that involves all of the types of things that incoming freshmen might need. And all of those details have been emailed out. So if you for whatever reason didn't get that email, feel free to contact me. But yes, that would happen on Wednesday, August 4th.
Thank you very much, Mark. And let's see, we have.
There's a question there, Jan, that I'll just answer real quickly. And the 10th graders who did not go to school last year. So if there's any, I'm not sure if that's a student who's new to ISP or a student who is not new to ISP, but just didn't attend classes last year. Either way, for students who are brand new to ISP, they can attend new student orientation this Saturday. And details for that have also been sent out. Or if it's a student who just isn't familiar with the high school campus, we will have people everywhere their first day here to help direct them and show them around. And we'll have some extended passing periods. So we'll be sure to help the students get from A to B on our campus, even if they're unfamiliar with where their classes might be.
Wonderful, thank you. We have a question. Do kids attend school on the 4th in their uniform?
They certainly can, but they don't need to. Comfortable clothes is fine. Comfortable school appropriate clothing is fine. I think we'll probably have some students in their uniforms, which is great, but it's not required.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So let me see. Oh, Fernando, can you reiterate the part about the mask on sports? We had a couple of questions on that.
Yeah, for sure. So masks are required in order to practice sports in the afternoon here at ISP. We need to wear our masks at all time, either if we're practicing or if we're playing some friendly mates here at ISP. So we need them at all times. I think that that's really important to emphasize due to, we need to remember that we're having athletics in our school. And as a school, we need to comply with MEDUCA and MISA regulations. So yes, we do need to wear our masks.
Thank you very much, Fernando. Mark, do you mind repeating about uniforms?
I do not mind. I was asking a question or answering a question about uniforms on Link Day, which is Wednesday, August 4th. That is not the first day of school. That is the day before the first day of school. Incoming ninth graders do not need to wear uniforms on that day, but they can. Our normal uniform regulations are not changing. And our uniform expectations are outlined in detail in our handbook.
Thank you very much, Mark. And we have a couple of minutes left. If there's any questions, we will go ahead and answer, and we'll send a recording of this session in the next few days. So with that, I'll pass it over to Dr. Menard for some final remarks. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for attending today. I want to remind you that we will send out a recording of this tomorrow. And so if you didn't see it or want to re-watch parts of it, it will be available to you and anyone else that might not have been able to join us today. I want to remind you that all of our doors are open to all of you. We are interested in your thoughts, suggestions, concerns, and just know we're really wide open and here to serve your kids. We also, I want to plug the PTA, and they'll be having monthly meetings. And so I encourage you to attend those. I'll be personally presenting in all of them. So if you have questions throughout the year, that's a great place to either request us to address certain topics or just to bring questions and stay on top of what's going on. So thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and just know we cannot wait to see the kids when they come back next week. Take care, everyone. Bye.